All right, welcome. This is the Sharp Note episode 10. I'm your host, Blitz, and yeah, this is a podcast where I just talk about life and music, and yeah, that's kind of the main point. I just talk about life and music. Like I said, my name's Blitz. If you've never watched an episode before, you don't know who I am, whatever, you don't know what this is all about, whatever, just it's no worries. Um, I just a little bit about me. I make music and other stuff, so that's cool. Um, and this is a YouTube channel where I put some stuff out on stuff. Yeah. Uh, Go listen to my album I released in February. It's called Bucking and Beagle. It's all right. It's okay. I need to. Okay, here's the thing. When I released it, I had this track list, right? And I've been going with this track list forever. But then I recently stumbled upon a track that would have actually been better than another one that I actually did release. So I'm going to do a little surgery. And if you're listening to this now, one of the original tracks I released with that album is no longer with that album. I don't know. I released it and then I was like, man, I just kept listening to it and I'm like, it just does not work. So I'm gonna do a little bit of surgery. I'm gonna replace one of those tracks, and yeah. But I haven't finished the one I'm gonna replace it with yet, so I haven't done it yet. But I'm gonna do that soon. So that'll be cool. I actually may do that. Now that I'm talking about it, let me gotta write this shit down. Yeah. Anyway, so that's cool. And not only that, but I also so just other music stuff going on. So I'm gonna do that, but that's just neither here nor there. That's just a simple thing. The main thing with music is I am currently working on a new project, of course, um, and I've been working on this one for a bit, but I'm thinking about it more, and I'm working on it more now. Uh, should be decent. It should be kind of cool. I don't know. I have mixed feelings about it. I think overall it will be a cool album, but I don't expect it to be like. I don't expect people to really like it, honestly. Maybe some people might like it, but there's gonna be a lot of people that listen to it and they're like, "Whoa." Yeah, that's gonna be. I don't know. We'll see. We can only wait and see what people. I don't know. Yeah. Um, but that will probably come out later this year. So probably late 2025 to be honest. So talking about it now, but it probably won't be finished until later this year. Maybe over the summer, but probably not. Probably in the fall or winter potentially. Um, anyway, I haven't been working on too much recently cuz all right, well I think I mentioned this in my last episode. My laptop died. Well, I definitely did mention it because it delayed it. I couldn't release one episode, and then my laptop died because my laptop died, and then so I just released one uh 2 weeks ago, and then last week I was just busy, and still my laptop is dead. So yeah, um, I just don't have a lot of time right now, man. My patience is running thin. I'm not gonna lie. And honestly, it's my own fault that I don't have a lot of time because I yeah, I need to just figure it out, I guess. There's no other way around it. There's only 24 hours in the day. There's only 7 days in a week, you know. We only have so much time, and yeah, I just got to figure it out. Time is the hardest thing in my opinion to figure out. One of them anyway. And some people are like, "Oh, but I don't know." Some people might hear that and be like, "Oh, you're crazy." Yeah, in a way, maybe. But also, some other people are going to hear that and be like, "You're exactly right. Like, time is a bitch." But, whatever. Funny enough, Time is one of the names of a project that, or a track that's going to be on that project I'll release later this year. So, I guess a little sneak peek or a little teaser, whatever. There will be a track called Time. But anyway. So yeah, that's I guess I have some other projects I'm working on, but they won't be released here. So you don't necessarily have to worry about those. Uh, and anyway, one thing I was going to talk about in this episode is I went to this concert a while back, and I can't remember why I was going to talk about this. I think, oh man, what was it? I don't know. I can't remember the point of this, but I was at this Suicide Boys concert a couple years ago, and honestly, great concert. Like Suicide Boys is one of my favorite artists, or one of my favorite, I guess, groups because it's a duo. But yeah, Ruby and Scrim, they're like, I don't know, just their music's just good. Um, yeah, man, I was listening to one of their songs the other night, and man, yeah, their music's just fucking good. Um, so if you've never listened to Suicide Boys before, if you're not like a huge fan, go explore some more. You're bound to find something. I think, but I don't know. Some people, it's not meant for like some people just won't like it. They won't listen to it, which is fine. Whatever. But Suicide Boys, yeah, I was at that concert and it was a great concert and what is it, Morgue City, I guess, performed, which is I don't know who one of the dudes is, but one of the guys in Morgue City is or City Morgue, I don't know, Zillakami, who I've been a somewhat fan of for a few years. He's gotten into some controversies, but I don't know. I don't know all the details, so I'm not worried about that. I guess if he, I don't know. Some of the stuff I heard, it's kind of crazy. I don't know what he did or what he didn't do, so I can't judge. I all I know is he makes some decent music. So he's a yeah. Anyway, so Zillakami though. So after the show though, we were walking out of the Suicide Boys concert, and Zillakami was just out there smoking a cigarette. So I dabbed him up real quick. So that was cool. Um, yeah. I was with one of my bros, and one of my bros just like walked right past him, didn't like say anything to her or whatever, and I was just like, "Yo," and I was just like, anyway, just dabbed him up real quick, and then went on my way. Didn't want to bother him. So if on the off chance Zillakami is listening to this, he probably doesn't remember it, but yo, or he gave me like a fist bump or something. I can't remember. But yeah, point is, I mean, it's not that big a deal. But that concert was crazy. There was like, I'm trying to remember who all performed. There was a lot of like no names, but there was a couple. There was one dude that I'm trying to remember his name, dude. Anyway, there was this yeah, neither here nor there. But there was another Suicide Boys concert that we went to, and Snot had performed at that one, so that was cool. And someone in the crowd, Snot had jumped into the crowd, and someone put Snot on his shoulders, and so Snot was like rapping, sitting on this dude's shoulders. It was fucking crazy. That's stupid, but yeah, it was pretty cool. Um, he had like jumped into the mosh pit and was sitting on dude's shoulders. And I'm trying to remember who else. Ski Mask performed that night too. Ski Mask was crazy. He was probably, in my opinion, his performance was probably the best that night. Um, but of course, the Suicide Boys were great that night as well. Their show, it was a cool concert. I mean, about as good as concerts can get, I guess. Concerts are cool and all. Don't get me wrong, but I don't know, man. It's just I don't know. In a way, it's almost like you just pay to say you went. Cause like I don't know, like it was a great night. Don't get me wrong. Uh, both of those concerts, but I don't know. The concerts in general are just like, or just shows and entertainment shows in general. It's just like more or less, you just pay to say that you went because you can get the same thing basically. I will say, listening to those songs on those loud ass speakers is you can't yeah, like if a place has a great sound system, yeah, like that's one thing, but unless you're like going there for the fucking insanely loud, I don't know, yeah, I mean, I guess that's why most people just go to concerts because it's music, but like but then like uh, you got to be like in the right spot, or it's got to be the right venue. You can't just like go to any concert and expect it to sound great. Like, you got to go to the right concerts that are going to have the right sound systems at the right venues, um, with the right artists, so that the songs you're listening to are not butt cheeks. They're actually like good songs, mixed well, produced well, you know. But that, like, honestly, far and few between. Most, like, most pop artists, what are you getting out of those concerts, really? Other than, again, other than just to say you went, and maybe a video of you, like, screaming at the top of your lungs or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, what? I don't know. Maybe I'm just a hater. uh, anyway. Yeah, concerts are great, though. Oh, man. I don't really know what to talk about. I had an idea earlier of, like, some topics to talk about, but now I'm blanking on them. Hmm. Well, I'll say I cut the shit out of my finger, like, last week or 2 weeks ago, something. I don't know if I mentioned it in the last episode or not, but long story short, I had a pair of scissors and they slipped and it sliced open my finger. And I closed it up real quick, threw some, like, a bandage over it, or, like, cleaned it and threw a bandage over it. And it actually closed up pretty quick and it healed up in a good amount of time. Healed well, barely hurt, so that was good. Could have easily hurt more. It could have easily hurt more, but it didn't. So that was good. Thankful for that. Yeah. Hmm. I don't know, man. I've been so unmotivated recently, and honestly, part of that's because, like, my laptop died on me, and that just, like, but it was just like a domino effect. It was that plus, like, a handful of other things, and just, I'm in a slump right now, I guess. I hate it. It's hard to focus on things. I have stuff I want to do, but it's almost like impossible to do it. because my brain just will not let me think about it. Like my brain just actively like does everything it can to not focus on it or think about it. And anytime I try to like force myself to like do what I need to do sometimes, not every time, but sometimes, it's just like can't, just can't. Like it, for whatever reason, I can't. It's hard. It's like impossible to explain, but it's just like I just can't focus on it. I was never diagnosed with like ADHD or anything, but or ADD, I don't know, whatever. Because I'm not really hyperactive at all. Well, sometimes, but people get, I mean, humans just get hyperactive anyway. Um, but I do have some like other symptoms. I don't know. But I was never diagnosed, so I don't know. But that I guess would be the best way I could explain it. And like why I just can't understand or I can't seem to like focus. And I don't have the time for that. I do not have the time to just not focus on things. I have to, because things are due. I have assignments and projects and stuff I need to get done. And if it doesn't get done now, it just doesn't get done, period. Because I can't do it like next week or the week after. I have to do it now. And that's both literally and like, because I have like assignments for college, but also, um, just all right. For instance, like eating, like you have to eat, and it's like I don't know, I have to eat every day, you know, and I have to do it now. I have to eat now. I have to go get food, or I don't know, just like all the things, and it's just one thing after the next. I mean, being an adult, it's just being an adult. It's things don't happen unless you make them happen. And yeah, that's it's hard to make everything happen. And that's why I honestly, just to go into my personal life a little bit, I get angry at people sometimes, and part of it's because I feel like, all right, for instance, having a relationship with someone, any relationship, whether that's a romantic relationship or a platonic relationship or a familial relationship or whatever, like whatever type of relationship you can think of, just having a relationship between two people, it, well, first of all, it requires like communication of to some degree. Now, you don't have to talk all the time, but there is no relation if you never talk. Like if you guys never speak to each other, you're never interacting at all. How can you say you are friends with that person or you are about whatever? Like y'all are just acquaintances or something. So interaction is like huge, and I don't know. I feel like I try to make it happen, that interaction with people. And I don't feel like I get that same energy back all the time, which is fine. I don't need people to like want to interact with me or hang out with me or whatever. But it's like, damn. Unless I'm the one, like it's that old saying, like, unless I'm the one texting you first, you're not gonna text me first. You know, it's kind of that old thing, or that um, same, I guess, idea. It's like, unless I'm the one making it happen, we essentially aren't friends, or we aren't whatever. I don't know. I guess what I'm trying to say is, if you want to have a relationship with somebody, again, whether that's platonic or romantic, whatever, a friendship, um, even just a relationship like with your parents, you kind of just have to make it happen. And it's on both sides to make it happen. No relationship can be one sided. No sort of any type of relationship can be one sided. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like that's the how relationships go, and that sucks when it does go that way, and then you realize that, oh, um, unless I'm the one doing it, I don't know. And if someone's listening to this and they think that, and they're like, they know me, and they think they might be that person, you might be. I don't know. Like, if you know me personally, but no, I don't think anyone that I know personally ever listens to this shit. They could, I guess. Like, I'm not hiding it from anybody, but I'm also not like telling people about it, and I don't think anyone's actually watching it. So I just be talking to myself, pretty much, for nothing. Kind of, in a way, nothing, but also something. Like, I genuinely enjoy doing this every, like, I put a post out last week saying, I didn't release an episode last week. I think I might just switch to do this bi-weekly, because it just takes a lot of time to do it every single week, or and to remember to do it every single week. But doing it every other week is not bad. And I may switch back to doing it every week, at some point, but I might just, yeah, do every other week for now. So the next episode would be in like 2 weeks from now. Episode 11 might be 2 weeks from now. But anyway, but yeah, I like doing these. Each one of these episodes, I feel like, is good, and in a way important to like record and put out and whatnot. But I'm not like, uh, I'm not putting too much into these, because I'm not getting too much out of it yet. Once I start getting something out of these, like, whether that's just even just views, you know, yeah, I may like put a little more effort into this, or more time into some of this stuff. But anyway, so I apologize, I guess, for any uh lack of quality. And just for like talking about random shit. But that's also the point of this podcast is it's supposed to be um just kind of whatever and you throw it on in the background. Listen to me ramble, I guess. The future makes me nervous and anxious just thinking about the future. And the fact that I feel like I'm living in the future now. Like I genuinely feel like I'm living in the future. Cause all right, to understand it from my perspective, I grew up in a rural area and the people in my life they don't know anything like technology related. They do, don't get me wrong, they do, but they don't. They don't understand it. Like they don't actually know. If that makes any sense. So like my parents and my grandparents and my like the other adults in my life that taught me things, most of them just didn't. Well, we were in a rural area, so access to certain information or access to, for instance, high speed internet, we didn't have access to that at all until the past like couple years. Literally, like I'm not even joking about that. It's literally only been in the past few years that the rural areas where I'm around have gotten internet access. Like internet access, period, but then also just high speed internet. Because the only internet that existed was like DSL, which if you know what DSL internet is, you know how bad it is. It's better than nothing, but it's not like great because it's essentially just internet over the phone line. So anyway, it fiber optic is so much faster. You can just transmit more data faster. But yeah, so coming from my perspective, I do feel like I'm living in the future because a lot of the adults in my life, they grew up in the well, like the older people, like around my grandparents' age, they had grown up in the 40s, 50s, 60s America. So they were like kind of boomers, but they were the silent generation right before boomers. But then some boomers as well, you know, like but anyway, um so they had grown up in that time period and like my grandpa, both my grandpas refuse to even turn on a computer. They don't know how they work. They don't they don't they don't they're not they're just not. Um some of the other people in my family are decent with tech, but like just like the average person,
and the average person doesn't really know much about just technology in general. And then there's like a handful of people in my family who actually do know some stuff about just technology in general. But one, they're far and few between, and also I wasn't really around them. So uh, with like computers and all the different capabilities of like the cloud and now blockchain and just the whole all this stuff, it's just completely like I genuinely feel like I'm living in the future. um and the reason I say that is because um let me put it this way. hmm well, let me think about this for a second. Okay, yes, let me put it this way. Cars were invented in like the late 1800s, and that's when they were starting to be mass produced, and like early 1900s mostly. Late 1800s, early 1900s. That was around the time period they started to be mass produced. And so only like um rich people had cars essentially. In like the 1920s and whatnot. Uh Not, it wasn't only rich people, but there weren't like, I mean, yeah, there wasn't like tons and tons of cars. Like your average person probably didn't have a car. They may have had a wagon, a horse and wagon, but they may not have had a car. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but more or less by the 19 like, yeah, well, like the 19 like 20s, 30s, 40s in that area, they probably thought they were living in the future with the cars that they had compared to the cars in the like late, like some of the first late 1800s, early 1900s. They must have thought they were living in the future, right? Well, the same thing. Like the internet only became public in like the late 80s or late 90s. I mean, I can't remember exactly. I think it was mid 90s or something. Whatever. Anyway, point is, the internet has more or less only been around like 30 years. And but the technology was developed so quickly that, oh man, I don't even know. Like it's hard to describe. It's just, it was developed so quickly that there wasn't even enough time to distribute it properly. Not in my opinion, anyway. Because, like I said, when I say distribute it properly, for instance, internet's been around for 30 years, roughly, give or take. And only in the past maybe 5 years have they put like high speed internet in rural areas. So I don't even know. Like it's from my perspective, it's a complete change. It's like day and night. because I could literally see the development going from no internet to slow internet to high speed internet to now, fuck, like they got quantum computers, bro. What, with all the technology that's being developed now, yeah, I feel like we're living in the future. Like it was only 2 generations ago that none of this even existed. No, like electricity barely existed. Electricity was barely in homes like 100 years ago, you know? And now we have computers. Like, what? Shut up. Computers are crazy. Just technology in general. In some ways, I'm like, I think it's great, and then in other ways, I think it's like absolutely terrible. Well, let me put it this way: it's as good as it is bad. And that's for most things in life. If it is insanely bad, it is probably in some way also insanely good. In From another perspective or from another whatever, and vice versa. If it is insanely good, it is probably insanely bad in another light. Yeah. I mean, there is balance with most things like that, like pretty good balance. And the internet, I guess, is no different. Technology. Yeah. Can only see where life takes us, where time takes us. How the events will unfold. Can only wait and see. Anyway, I'm done talking. I don't know what else to talk about. I'm just rambling. Sorry, it's just like I said, it's been a rough few weeks. Hopefully next episode I can like or by next episode I can get some stuff accomplished and hopefully feel a little bit better. It's been a long time since I've felt like normal. So much anxiety, I guess, about random things, just life in general. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Y'all don't want to hear about all that. So, anyway, I'll catch y'all on the next episode of A Sharp Note. Thank you for watching episode 10. I'll be back soon. Go listen to my album, like I said, Buckingham Beagle. And I'll be coming out with a new project relatively soon. So, yeah. Peace.